Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! One of the greatest honors of my career and my life is being the voice of Descendants and Zombies, an honor you girls gave me after having made me a famous overnight on YouTube for all the videos that I uploaded about Descendants and Zombies. Thank you so much for over 45,000 views on this YouTube channel, just under 50,000, and 3,000 subscribers. I couldn't have done it without you. I know I wouldn't be here tonight sitting behind this podcast microphone so proud to be your voice of Descendants and Zombies, your Descendants analyst. Thank you so much for all the kind comments, all the great reviews, and making this YouTube channel seemingly famous overnight. It's exploded and been blown out of the water. And I don't mean the vortex in Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, which everybody is guessing. What is inside of the vortex? Mermaids, pirates, witches, sirens? We'll find out with a release window suggesting 2027. And I'm really excited about it. Just think about it. 2 years from now, we'll be counting down the hours, the minutes, and the seconds to the premiere of Zombies 5. So too, we'll be counting down the hours, the minutes, and the seconds to Descendants 5 Wonderland, which is a title I love so much that is so very unpredictable. We'll get to that in a moment. I just want to take a moment of time out to say thank you to everybody for supporting this YouTube channel, because without you, I wouldn't be here. 5 minutes before I jumped on this podcast, after being a pro wrestling analyst for over 25 years, I found out one of the guys that I knew personally, John Cena, has been diagnosed with a rare form of skin cancer. There are very few details on this yet, but I just found out 5 minutes ago because I have so many friends in the wrestling industry. I just want to say it really takes me as a shock that John Cena was diagnosed with cancer so suddenly. They haven't revealed it yet. I would assume there's going to be an announcement over the next 24 to 48 hours by the next time we see John Cena, because that's usually what they do in the wrestling industry. But I remember seeing John Cena for the first time in July of 2002. He wasn't the biggest name in the wrestling industry at that point in time. He was known as the Prototype. And he had blue trunks and no catchphrases, no fancy entrance music, no fancy T-shirts with "This time is now" marked on them. John Cena was just an up-and-comer in the wrestling industry. I had been in the wrestling industry for almost 10 years when I first saw John Cena, and I knew he had something special, but I didn't know that nearly 25 years after a miraculous career and holding the WWE Championship a record 17 times, he would be sitting at home tonight having been diagnosed with skin cancer. Again, very few details have been revealed about this. I don't even think the internet's gone public with it yet, but they will make an announcement on it in due time. So I just want to say thank you to John Cena for everything that he's done, for touching everybody's hearts. I know there are a lot of kids out there that used to watch him on kids' movies like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem years ago. He was also the voice of a bull called Fernando that a lot of kids loved. John Cena touched the hearts of so many people, and it's just so tragic to find out that he has skin cancer. And knowing John Cena all this time really breaks my heart that this is such tragic and such sad news. But if I know anything about John Cena over the years, he will make it out and he'll come back stronger than ever. My thoughts and my prayers go out to John Cena and his family, because I also knew his father, Johnny Fabulous, and those were some of the greatest moments of my professional wrestling career before you girls pulled me out of it. And you got me here talking about Descendants and Zombies. You know, I would love to find out what's inside of that vortex a lot sooner than what people have been making predictions. I would love to find out what's inside of that vortex in the next 3 months, because if we knew what was going to be inside of that vortex, regardless of mermaids, pirates, witches, sirens, I think it would create a great deal of excitement and send shockwaves throughout the Descendants and Zombies universe. But I am really excited to see what the plot is going to detail for Descendants 5 Wonderland. I, for one, would love to be the announcer for the Kingdom Cup games. You know, I could do this whole thing about, "Welcome to the Kingdom Cup games. Now introducing the participants." I used to do a lot of voiceover work for boxing and MMA and the UFC and pro wrestling years ago. That's how I got my start as a radio broadcaster and eventually became a journalist. So I'd kind of love to be the voice of Descendants and Zombies as the voice of the Kingdom Cup games, because I think this will provide us with a lot of action that we haven't necessarily seen in the Descendants movies. While it was called an action-adventure musical, the original Descendants movies didn't really give us a lot of action, didn't provide us with a lot of edgier seat moments. The confliction between Mal and Uma That controversy provided us with a bit of action where Mal finally turned into a dragon and Uma turned into a sea serpent, if you will, with 8 arms, referencing Ursula, of course. Legendary Disney characters Maleficent and Ursula, who've been at war for forever. But we never really did see a whole lot of action and a whole lot of a story created, really, from the original Descendants, because most of the focus of the original Descendants, I found at least by Descendants 2, the focus pretty much was on Mel and Ben's relationship. I think that there could have been more emphasis on characters like Evie, which the bulk of the emphasis was on outside of Mel's character, portrayed by Dove Cameron. I think there could have been more emphasis on relationships like Milan's daughter and Jay, of course, played by Boo Boo Stewart, the son of Jafar. There were so many unanswered questions that Descendants, the original trilogy, left us with, so I don't know how they got away with believing they had told the story and completed it. And perhaps how they didn't get away with telling a story and completed it was the reason why and the purpose for releasing Descendants: The Rise of Red, the inspiration behind it. I really quickly fell in love with The Rise of Red. I thought it was so much more fun watching these new characters because they were younger, they were stronger perhaps, but they had a really, really beautiful vibe. That's the thing about this movie that a lot of critics on YouTube really didn't put out there. The movie had a really beautiful vibe, and an extraordinary vibe that really brought it to life in a way that no other Descendants franchise or spin-off was able to do it. You know, it's one way to look at it, you know, doing an animated movie called The Royal Wedding between Mel and Ben, where they hit it off and got married, and the voiceovers were done by the original cast. That's one way to believe you've told the story and completed it, but leaving us with so many unanswered questions. You know, will we ever see these original stars return? I don't know. If we do see any of them return, I think it'll be Boo Boo Stewart ever before we see Mel or Evie return, Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson. Although, because at the beginning of The Rise of Red, there was a tease that Mel, Evie, Jay, and Carlos went off to distant lands to explore, to spread the message of Oridon, and that's a movie in its own right. And then, of course, there's been the conversation, the age-old question, if Descendants will ever see a TV spin-off called Oridon. I would love that. I would actually love the opportunity to attend Oridon Prep and be its principal. I know that honor was given to Uma, China Anne McClain's character, and she's done a fabulous job. You know, oftentimes I've criticized China Anne McClain for having done this or that, but the more I think about it and really sit back and put it into perspective, without her guidance, would people like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker be as phenomenal as they are now? I think that having the opportunity to learn from so many legends, such as Kylie Cantrell had the opportunity to learn from Raven Simone and now China and McClain, has made her so fabulous and so happy and so appreciative. So why is Kylie Cantrell being victimized by so much criticism, having criticism really thrown in her face every opportunity a critic gets? You know, can't we just say something nice about Kylie Cantrell for a change? And that's one of the reasons why I created this show, was so we could hear nice reviews about Kylie Cantrell. What really did it for me was when her boyfriend broke up with her just last year, and she went to TikTok and she started crying about her relationship and that she couldn't make sense of why it happened the way it did, why things turned out the way it did. Let me just say this. I don't think any girl deserves to have her heart broken. I know it happens every day and there's nothing that we can do about it, but we can offer encouragement and we can offer empowering advice. Because in my opinion, a girl is what makes everything make sense in this lifetime. And maybe it's just because I'm a guy, but I feel as if a girl is the reason why the world revolves and spins on its axis. Because oftentimes, if you notice, a guy can't make sense of his own life. So with the help of a girl, a guy can pretty much feel more content, more at ease with his own life. I know I felt like that all of my lifetime and all the relationships I've been in. But I think that Kylie Cantrell is just young and she's trying to figure out her place in the world and her place in the Descendants franchise. And I think that with your guys' help and all the love and support you've shown her, Kylie Cantrell has become one of the most infamous and most revered Descendants characters of all time. And I give Kylie Cantrell a profound amount of credit. And that has everything to do with how I watched Kylie Cantrell, or at least I felt like I've watched Kylie Cantrell for all of my life, going back as far as shows as Raven's Home, under the tutelage of Raven Simone, who is a legendary actress. And then TV shows like High School Musical, the series, for Disney Plus. I mean, she had so many incredible honors. And then coming from all of that to donning the role of Red in the Descendants franchise. I mean, nobody has done it as powerfully as what Kylie Cantrell has. And having her friendship put on display and in question with Malia Baker, I think that's really drawing a conclusion, a formidable conclusion to what's really going on off of camera. I think it's just rumors and really nasty rumors about the relationship and how it's on and off again. And a lot of people ask me the question in comments, you know, do I think Red and Chloe will hit it off by the time we get to Descendants 5? I don't think it's too early to say what will happen, but I think we're a long way away from seeing this because of the age demographic and what have you. If the age demographic would be, say, 15 to 25, then there probably would be a chance, and Disney would probably have to up the rating of the movie. But I think these rumors are just really cruel rumors that people are posting online, and we really have to back off of Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker because they are beautiful people, beautiful souls, and they were meant to meet. They were meant to be friends, just as Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner were meant to be friends. I want to go on record for saying that I think Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner's friendship, leaving Malia Baker out of the equation for a moment, is the most beautiful friendship that I think I've ever seen in my life and had the honor to cover. I hope that in years to come Ruby has more projects and really puts herself out there more because I love her so much. There's just something about Ruby's personality that's so genuinely kind, and it gets me every single time. I don't think there's a night in my life where I miss Ruby because Ruby is a beautiful person. And I think that she's inspired a lot of people to be kinder in life. And I really do believe that. Ruby has really come a long way. I remember watching Ruby ever since she was 12 years old. And with the support of her mother and her father, Andrew, who's a really cool guy, she was able to really branch out in ways that I don't think she would have ever had the opportunity to do if she wouldn't have had such a supportive family. I remember watching Ruby on a show called Coop and Cammy Ask the World. And I was sitting at home on my couch in 2013, and I saw this series premiere, and I said, this series has it. This series is going to be something very special. And it was a shame the series ended just after 2 seasons. The same thing can be said about Gabby Duran and the Unsittables, because I found it to be a very unique concept of how a girl would babysit aliens traveling from one distant planet to another. I mean, at that point in time in your lifetime, you never ever thought that that girl would go on to don so many iconic roles such as Red and Tony in High School Musical and Descendants. But she did. And it was because of passion. It wasn't because they were the greatest actresses of all time, but they would go down in history for being the greatest of all time because they had the support of each and every one of you. They loved to sing. They loved to dance. They were such great friends. And that's why I say that the most beautiful friendships have been created from Disney. While Nickelodeon has surrounded itself with so much controversy over the years because of Dan Schreider and his final show being Game Shakers, and of course iCarly Victorious achieving a worldwide popularity. There were a lot of things Dan Schreider did that I never ever agreed with, and that was probably the biggest inspiration for me to want to be the director and writer of things such as Descendants and iCarly and Victorious, which were beautiful shows. For me, what did it with Kylie Cantrell was seeing her review all of my favorite TV shows, because I was a huge fan of a show like Victorious. I remember years ago when they won Favorite Kids TV Show at the 2012 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. I actually believe that year John Cena, who I just spoke on, hosted the Kids' Choice Awards. I think he hosted them multiple years. John Cena has been very fortunate in his career, 25 years of a legacy. You know, I've always wanted to have a legacy of my own, and I've doubted me having a legacy, but each and every one of you have assured that I will go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time, because who out there creates as many Descendants and Zombies videos as this? The answer to that question is simply nobody. Long after dust settles in on all of our lives, I'm still creating Descendants and Zombies videos. This may be the final video for this evening, but I will be back tomorrow morning bright and early with another Descendants and Zombies video to analyze Descendants and Zombies for you. I've always believed that 90 minutes is far not long enough to create a story and tell a story. You can't tell a story in 90 minutes and complete it. So with that having been said, I think that Descendants still has a long way to go, especially with a new spin-off from the original franchise. You know, 10 years ago, if someone were to tell me that I'd be sitting here tonight talking about Descendants and Zombies and have achieved worldwide popularity for talking about it, I probably would have thought that person who would have told me, probably one of my really good friends, would have been crazy. But I always believed that one day, some way or somehow, I would fall into a niche that would be incredibly supportive of my opinion. And for some reason, you guys obviously saw a hero in me, and you made me the voice of Descendants and Zombies. You know, 2 years seems like a long way away from Zombies 5, but we will get there. And a year, I know, seems like forever to a lot of people who don't really understand the concept of time. But all you've got to understand, even though you don't know really the length of time and how long it is, because when I was a kid in kindergarten, I didn't know the concept of time and how long time was and how much of a profound effect it can have on our life and our choices, because we have to make really accurate choices, if you would, as we get older, because of the concept of time. But even though you can't really understand, you know, how valuable time is sometimes, all you've got to remember is that time always runs out. So even if there is a year between Descendants and Descendants, The Rise of Red, and Descendants, Wicked Wonderland, time will always run out. And the same thing can be said about this release window that's being suggested for Zombies 5. 2027 seems like a long way away, but time always runs out, and we will get to that point at midway 2027, and we will finally have revealed what is inside of that vortex. And I can tell you with 100% confidence, I am really excited to find out and hear about what's inside of that vortex. And leading up to it, I want to know what your guys' predictions are of what's inside of that vortex on discussion forums, on this YouTube channel. I'm really excited about it. My heart goes out to everybody who is a Descendants and Zombies fan, just as my heart goes out to everybody who attended the Worlds Collide tour, because you guys glowed. And I will say this forever and always, because you guys really did glow and you really brought it to life. You've given this franchise life. You really brought this franchise to life, because this franchise could be really dull. But this franchise is so colorful because of each and every one of you and the love and support that you've outpoured for your favorite Descendants stars, whoever you see yourself through. You know, years ago, I can remember when young girls would show up at my door dressed up as their favorite Descendants characters, regardless if it was Mel, regardless if it was Evie, regardless if it was Red, Bridget, Chloe. Whoever showed up at my door, I can remember seeing them seeing themselves through their eyes of their favorite character. And they would try to tell me the story of how they were inspired by them and why they were dressed up as their favorite character, telling me I should create a show devoted to Descendants and Zombies. And many nights I would turn on my computer light, and that would be the only light in my room because I was such a real loser. And because before that, all I ever did was play video games, as you can get from my video game collection in the back there. I have every PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 video game. You just haven't got to tell anybody. So on nights that I wasn't playing PlayStation or twitching, come to think of it, I haven't twitched in my lifetime, or I should say streaming video games, I would be searching up the plot behind Descendants and the reason why it was such a huge success, and I very quickly fell in love with the message of empowerment, the message of a power struggle, the message of how one can find their true love for both franchises. And then years after Descendants, here comes Zombies, which a lot of people call the mere copycat of Descendants because of its message and its script. But the thing that separated Zombies from Descendants was that Zombies, I believe, was way more unpredictable. Zombies was so much of a unpredictable franchise because you didn't know what was going to happen next from one moment to the next. Descendants, you could pretty much decipher what was going to happen. You know, Mal was going to meet Ben. Mal and Ben were going to fall in love. Ben was going to dump Audrey. Audrey was going to become psychotic. It was a very obvious plot. But in Zombies, you didn't know what was going to happen from one moment to the next. Like, I'm living in fear tonight of my window being open and thousands of zombies creeping in through my window and killing me before the end of this podcast. And, you know, that could happen. Either that, or reportedly, we're 114 days away from an alien invasion. Apparently an alien spacecraft, which has been identified, is on its way to Earth to kill us all in just under 114 days, if you can believe that. I don't know what I'm going to do if an alien spacecraft is on the way to Earth to kill us all. I just want to put it out there, take a moment that if there is an alien spacecraft on the way to Earth to kill us all, then I'm ready to die. I'm good to go. I say this because every girl who's ever hit my subscribe button, every girl who's ever hit my like button has been incredibly supportive of these videos, and there is no other niche in the world that I would preferably die with than the fans of Descendants and Zombies, because shout out to every other YouTube creator out there who hosts his own channel every night. If you want to find a niche and fall in love with a niche that is incredibly supportive of your videos, then just make a bunch of Descendants and Zombies videos and follow through on your promises of showing up on time with Descendants and Zombies videos, and thousands of girls will subscribe to your YouTube channel, and they will love you for forever because their love is unconditional. This experience is unlike anything that I've ever experienced in my entire life. I know I wouldn't be here tonight if not for each and every one of you, and I just want to say thank you so much. I love you all dearly. Because you could be subscribed to anybody else's YouTube channel tonight who's probably crazier than what I am talking about Descendants and Zombies, although I don't think there's anybody who's uploaded this many Descendants and Zombies videos on their YouTube channel. I do it because I really do appreciate the value that comes with Descendants and Zombies, and there is a tremendous value with Descendants and Zombies videos. There really is, because it teaches us the value of life and how precious time really is, because I've always believed, and I've known this for years, that time is really a precious commodity that we can't really take for granted. Why? Because it always runs out. So we have to take into consideration, you know, what do we want to make the most of the time that we've been allocated? If we were in possession of a pocket watch, which was the original title of The Rise of Red, they were going to call it Descendants, the Pocket Watch, I think that would have been a very powerful title in its own right, because it really would have taught us the value of time and how precious it really is. Because if we were in possession with a pocket watch, what would we do with the time that we could go back in time and live through a certain era of our lives? I know for certain I would go back in time and perhaps tell the ones I love a lot more that I love them than what I probably did, because I made a lot of mistakes. I will admit to each and every one of you that I'm far from perfect, and I'm sure there's somebody out there that thinks the same way I do in the same light. They are far from perfect, but don't worry. I have this to say to you. If you find that you can't find your light, don't worry. You will find your light, because it's meant to happen for you. That's why you'll find your light. That's a quote from Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, I know, but I've always loved that quote about how somebody who's struggling to find their light eventually always does. And you will. Just as Kylie Cantrell will find her light and bask in the spotlight of Descendants and Zombies for just a little while longer. People like Kylie Cantrell and Meg Donnelly, I give a profound amount of credit for having been alive for so long and inspired so many people for however long they have. You know, it's been an incredible 7-year journey for Zombies. They started it when they were 16, and I don't think they ever thought the friendship between Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly would be as powerful as what it is, because it's inspired so many people. I go back to that final scene in Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires, after the conflict between the Daywalkers and the Nightwalkers had ended over the Blood Fruit, and they reached a mutual agreement, where Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim's character Zed Addison, after Zed had almost zombied out and Meg saved his life, we're on top of a hill. It reminds me of a hill literally 5 minutes away from where I live. It's a beautiful location. But they were on top of a hill contemplating their life. All they wanted was to spend the rest of their lives together. And they had that honor. It was the perfect ending to a perfect franchise, with a new franchise dawning on the horizon, Zombies 5. We don't know what the title is. We just know the focus is going to be on the relationship between Nova and Victor, Malachi Burton and Freya Skye, who have fabulous futures with the Disney organization. And if Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim have anything to say about it, they're going to explode in popularity as if they already haven't. The Worlds Collide Tour is a surefire indication that they have promising futures ahead for them, and I'm really excited about their futures because they have a lot to teach us and a lot to learn themselves. Especially Malachi Burton. I really believe, after posting photos of himself in a gym lifting weights, he has a long way to go, and I hope he doesn't continue to do that, because that will take a lot of respect away and a value of his character away from a lot of people. Now, I know a lot of people out there have the biggest crush in the world on Malachi Burton. We just shouldn't jump to conclusions about our assumptions about him, because he could turn out to be a real asshole, although it remains to be seen. But one thing is for certain, I know that you girls will always have me to help you make sense of Descendants and Zombies, because sometimes these girls who are in these relationships with these guys from Disney Channel, like Dove Cameron and Ryan McCartan, are just way far out there and beyond ridiculous, and that's why I was very vocal about Dove Cameron and Ryan McCartan's relationship, and so too I was the relationship between Thomas Doherty and Dove Cameron from 2016 to 2020. It was a real brutal 7 years for Dove Cameron, but she quickly found out that she was a better person because she had the love and support of each and every one of you, and so too did Kylie Cantrell find out she had the love and support of each and every one of you. That's why she tells you that dreams can happen for anybody. Thank you, Kylie, for using my quote that I've been using for over 25 years on this show. It hasn't been easy for me as a radio show host and a YouTuber, but I've become one of the greatest of all time because of each and every one of you. As I said here earlier, this didn't happen because I decided to upload a bunch of Descendants and Zombies videos. This happened because you guys loved me and you accepted me, and I have each and every one of you to thank for that, which is more than you're ever going to hear from any other YouTube creator out there who posted reaction videos to trailers and scenes in Zombies. It's insane how people have taken advantage and really capitalized on the momentum and the value and the appreciation behind these franchises. I don't want to capitalize on the momentum and the value of these franchises. Pretty much what I want to do is just really put it out there for what it's meant to be, and that's something so spectacular. And I'm just so honored. I feel incredibly honored to be sitting behind this podcast microphone for however long I've had the honor of doing it, to talk about Descendants and Zombies in such a way that it would inspire somebody to create their own YouTube and to really appreciate and see the value in characters portrayed by Malachi Burton and Freya Skye, who I know still have a long way to go. Freya's only 15. Malachi Burton is 15, 16 years old. So they still have a long way to go and a very promising future at that, and one that I'm really excited about. We got that from performances of songs like Gold Is Gone off Freya Skye's EP at the Worlds Collide Tour. So do we off of Kylie Cantrell's EP, which was fabulously done also. We still have a long way to go with this, but I am going to be here every step of the way, every single moment that we can talk about Descendants and Zombies. I will make sense of it for you, because I really do love these two franchises respectively, and I'm really excited about the future that Descendants and Zombies is going to give us. And it's been such an honor to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone and to have talked about Descendants and Zombies for however long you girls have allowed me to do it. As the voice of Descendants and Zombies, I couldn't feel more honored or more proud to have that accolade bestowed upon me after every accolade that I've achieved in my career over the last 25 years. But I couldn't have done it without each and every one of you. So I guess on this beautiful evening in all of our lives, the only thing left to say is I love you guys so much, man. Thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown this YouTube channel, which I can only hope you continue to do, because without you, I don't know honestly where I would be. Keep me in your heart as I will keep you in mind. Stay calm and zombie on, and really know that life is sweeter when all of us are, because it really is. It's so beautiful. Somewhere out there in that constellation tonight, the words I love you are written. You may have to look a little bit harder than some others to find it, but trust me, it's there. And just know that I am forever appreciative of each and every one of you, because I know that I wouldn't be here without the love and support that you girls have shown me. It's truly unbelievable. I can't even begin to put into words how appreciative I am with the over 3,000 subscribers, near 50,000 views on this YouTube channel. We will talk again tomorrow morning. Until then, keep kindness in your heart and be kind to one another. Bye, YouTube. Thank you so much for watching my video. We will talk again tomorrow morning. Be kind to each other.